They always ask why she's alone, why she doesn't post him, why she moves in silence, walk with confidence, and seems almost untouchable. But they never ask what she's building. This is for the woman who paused, not because she gave up on love, but because she refused to settle for less than the world she saw in her dreams. The one who said, I'll date when I'm done becoming her. Because she knows that what she chooses before she evolves becomes her ceiling. This is the era of elevation. Because why waste time explaining your worth when you could become so undeniable they don't dare question it? So let's begin. Not with a chase, not with a checklist, but with a shift. Let's talk about why you keep attracting almost committed, almost aligned, and almost enough. It's not because you're hard to love, darling. It's because you're loving from a place of lack, of rushing, of hoping, of trying to fill a space in you that wasn't ready to be shared. Hypergamy doesn't start with a man, it starts with a mindset. I will not entertain anything that doesn't match where I'm headed. Not where I've been, not where I'm healing, but where I'm becoming. Here's the truth most women will never hear. Every time you entertain something subpar, you delay the masterpiece. Because you're telling God, this is enough for me right now, when it's not. You're not single because you're broken. You're single because you're unavailable for distractions. Because you know that crumbs may keep you company, but they'll never feed the version of you you're building. Let's break it down. There's 3 types of women in the dating pool. Number 1, the settler. She dates because she's afraid of being alone. She tolerates, she explains, she negotiates. And then she wonders why she feels empty even when he's right next to her. Number 2, the seeker. She's on a constant quest. She journals about him, manifests him, makes him her motivation, but rarely makes herself the mission. Number 3, the silent builder. She disappears, glows up, doesn't explain, doesn't defend. She becomes the woman her younger self dreamed of, and waits until the right man recognizes her. Not just her body, not just her smile, but the work she's done. That's who this message is for. The silent builder, the elegant withholder, the woman who stopped auditioning for roles in a man's life and started writing the script of her own. When you begin to elevate, really elevate, your whole life shifts. You stop craving attention, you start craving alignment. You don't post for them to notice. You post to document a chapter you never want to forget. You don't respond out of boredom. You choose based on standards. And you're no longer distracted by his potential because you're obsessed with your own. Because the level up woman knows this, and hear me clearly. A man who enters before the evolution might never let her evolve. You might want to replay that back. So she pauses, she studies, she trains, she upgrades her surrounding, her skin, her savings, and her soul. She goes from proving to presiding, and when she finally decides to date again, she's not hoping he'll see her worth, she is the worth. Let's take it deeper. If you're still negotiating your standards, still accepting less because he's trying, still ignoring red flags because he's not like the rest, I'm sorry, darling, but you're dating from scarcity. Actually, I'm not sorry. A woman in her soft power does not explain what she wants, she becomes it, and watches who rises to meet her there. The art of withholding access isn't about playing games, it's about preserving your energy while you grow your value. Because when you give queen energy to page energy, you not only lose time, you lose trajectory. You deserve to be pursued, protected, and prioritized, but only after you pursued, protected, and prioritized yourself. So yes, why date when you can elevate? Every woman wants to be chosen, but few chooses themselves fully, deeply, with devotion. Be honest, have you ever stopped to ask, what would the dream version of me do today? Would she call a man who's inconsistent, spiral over a story view, lower her tone to be liked, or would she work out because she loves her body, not to impress him, study wealth because she's done struggling, light a candle, pour a glass, and say, I'm still becoming her? Here's the thing, the dream girl isn't a fantasy, she's a formula. She's habits, decisions, boundaries. She's the outcome of your inner math multiplied by your self-belief. Let's talk building blocks. Number 1, confidence. Not the loud, performative kind, but the quiet kind. The kind that walks in a room and doesn't need to announce its value, because the room adjusts. Real confidence is created when your actions matches your intentions. You said you were going to get in shape, did you? You said you were going to learn how money works, did you? Hypergamy starts in the mirror, and the most attractive thing about a woman isn't her lashes, her body, or her perfume. It's the way she keeps promises to herself. Number 2, competence. This is where elevation lives. A leveled up woman knows things, she doesn't wait to be rescued. She knows how to move, how to plan, and how to multiply. She's learning how to trade, she's reading contracts before she signs them. She's managing her energy, her space, and her circle. Because That's what you do when you know you're headed somewhere. A man may enter your life, but he will never define it. Number 3, quiet power. Soft girls still hold swords. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to prove anything. The evolved woman knows silence is seduction. Stillness is strength. She's unbothered because her energy is expensive. Don't explain why you disappeared. Let them wonder. Don't correct their misinterpretations. Let them sit with it. You're not here to be accessible. You're here to be excellent. The reason your options feel small right now isn't because men are trash. It's because your elevation is unfinished. And unfinished women attract unfinished men. But the woman who's still becoming, the one who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't compromise her vision, she becomes an enigma, an obsession, because she reminds the world that not every woman is for public access. This is your reminder. You don't have to be perfect to start elevating. You just have to be honest, consistent, and unshakable in your self-concept. Because dating from emptiness is expensive. It'll cost you time and energy and identity. But dating from overflow, that's when luxury meets legacy. So let's keep going. Patience isn't passive. It's powerful. It's the highest form of self-care and self-respect. When a woman waits, not because she's unwanted, but because she's unwilling to settle, that's not desperation, that's discipline. Let's reframe the narrative. You're not falling behind because you're not dating. You're getting ahead because you're building. The woman who waits isn't waiting on a man. She's waiting on alignment. She's giving herself room to rise, space to upgrade, time to fine-tune. She's letting her skin glow before she shows it. She's letting her confidence compound like quiet interest. She's letting her lifestyle become the standard, not the expectation. Because here's the truth. A rushed connection is just a delayed heartbreak. Yeah, you might want to replay that one again too. But a woman who chooses herself the first time becomes rare. And in a world obsessed with immediacy, rarity equals power. Let's talk about the law of assumption for a second. What if you believe that your man isn't missing? He's being molded. That while you're mastering your soft power, he's learning how to lead, how to hold space, how to spot a real woman when she walks in a room and doesn't beg to be seen. You're not hard to love. You're hard to access. And that's the point. A leveled up woman doesn't broadcast her every move. She lets her absence speak. She lets her glow make them wonder. She lets her silence sting. Because when you know your value, you stop over-explaining why you're unavailable. You know the woman I'm talking about. The one who dated after the glow up, who went quiet for a year, came back with new skin, new boundaries, and a new presence. She didn't chase. She didn't post thirst traps. She didn't explain her standards. She became the standard. And now she's getting approached by men who don't ask, what do you bring to the table? They ask, how do I deserve a seat at your table? Luxury doesn't rush. Diamonds don't beg to be pegged. They're found when you dig deep enough and wait long enough. Your patience is your pedestal, and your energy is your filter. You don't need to prove that you're ready. You need to protect what you're preparing, because when you finally choose to date again, the man who meets you won't be confused, he'll be convicted. Patience is not loneliness. It's a strategy. The longer you wait, the more you elevate, and the more you elevate, the less you tolerate. So don't rush what's rising. Don't speed through your self-worth. This is your era of expansion. And when you walk into that room next time, you won't wonder if you're enough. You'll wonder who's enough for you. Readiness isn't about being perfect. It's about being anchored. Most women think they're ready to date, but they're really ready to be distracted, ready to be chosen, and ready to feel something. But feeling something isn't always love. Sometimes it's your trauma bonding. Sometimes it's validation dressed as attention. Sometimes it's your inner child begging to be seen. And until you elevate beyond need, you will always chase noise. Let's be clear. You're not single because you're unworthy, darling. You're single because you're still shedding the need to be liked, shedding the compulsion to fix him, shedding the tendency to beg for crumbs, shedding the version of you who thought being chosen was the goal. Because now you know the real goal is to be centered, so deeply rooted in your value that no situationship, no misstep, no masculine void can shake you. He's not ghosting you. You're being hidden, because God doesn't waste queens on confusion. There are blessings that require isolation. There are men who only recognize your value once. They see you in your power, not in your performance, not in your overgiving, but in your elevation. You are the prize, but only when you remember it. And a real prize doesn't compete, they command. What if your silence was sacred? What if your solitude was a signal to God that you're finally done accepting less? Let's redefine readiness. It's not, I just want someone. It's, I built something so beautiful to let just anyone into it. You don't need to announce that you're elevating. Your energy will speak for you. You'll know when it's time to date again because the idea of lowering your standards will make you physically uncomfortable. You'll feel peace in your body. You won't be tempted by breadcrumbs. You'll walk away from almost without flinching. You'll stop auditioning in rooms you're born to own. The truth is, you were never meant to chase, you were meant to choose, to decide who gets access to your life so carefully built. Remember, darling, in order to live a high-quality lifestyle, you have to embody high-quality essence. Smooches!